Coming up tonight on YCN News, New Hampshire is looking for new tech companies. Vermont moves forward with its GMO labeling law. And businessman Donald Trump visits New England College. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening. It's Tuesday, April 28th. I'm Abby Peel, and welcome to YCN News. In today's business world, having a great idea for a high-tech company is just one avenue to success. The other route that must be followed leads to the money to finance these plans. That's why the state of New Hampshire is launching a competition to help bring business creators with investors. Information about details Live Free and Start can be found under the state's Business Finance Authority website. Applications are due on May 15th. The winners of the Ultimate New Hampshire Connections will meet with Governor Maggie Hassan and other businessmen and women who've worked with tech startup companies in the process. A federal court ruling says Vermont can move forward with a law requiring more detailed food labels, including if a food contains genetically modified organisms. U.S. District Court Judge Christina Reese ruled against the Grocery Manufacturers Association and other food industry groups yesterday. Industry leaders asked the court not to allow the Vermont law to take effect on July 1st of 2016. Governor Peter Shumlin signed Act 120 into a law a year ago. Act 120 requires food sold in Vermont to list the presence of any GMOs on its label or packaging. The court upheld the state labeling law but denied Vermont's request to dismiss the suit against it brought by food industry groups. A Connecticut man who owns property in Cavendish, Vermont, is upping the dollar amount of a reward he'd pay, leading to the return of a brass cannon that was stolen from his property earlier this month. 57-year-old Patrick Durkin of Greenwich, Connecticut, is offering $1,000 in a reward, up from his original $500 offer, for information that leads to the recovery of his cannon. Vermont State Police were called to Durkin's property on South Reading Road in Cavendish on April 4th after reports that a Honda dirt bike and a brass cannon were stolen. Investigators have been unable to come up with the stolen property in 3+ weeks since the incident, prompting Durkin to increase his reward offer. Anyone with information regarding the case is asked to contact Trooper Nicholas Arlington or Detective Brian Barry at the number on your screen, 802-875-2112. Coming up tonight on YCN News, businessman Donald Trump comes to Henniker, New Hampshire. A musical delight is set for the Briggs Opera House, plus weather and sports are all coming up when YCN News returns.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Abby Peel. There's still time to catch a show at Briggs Opera House, the last time visitors can enjoy a play or musical performance in White River Junction, Vermont. But don't despair. Future programs by Northern Stage performing artists will be held at this location, the Barrett Center for the Arts. The new center will open in October, right around the corner from the Opera House. The show Songs for a New World runs through May 3rd. Musical star Jason Robert Brown wrote the musical. To learn more, go to the theater's website, northernstage.org. Icon Donald Trump came to town yesterday, and YCN News was there at New England College in Henniker. Now let's check in with Mike Pizzone for that story.
Business mogul and reality TV star Donald Trump told a packed crowd at New England College's Simon Center Great Room yesterday that he's close to announcing a potential run for the White House and that he has both the skills and ideas necessary to make America great again. Trump said he likely won't announce his decision until late June or early July, but that in his mind, the decision has already been made.
So I'm looking at it very seriously. And the reason is our country is in such trouble that if somebody doesn't do it, we're not going to have a country anymore.
He said New England specifically has been decimated by such tactics, with local companies having been chipped off to the likes of Mexico and China.
I will take so much money back from Mexico, from China, from all these people. You look at New England, what's gone on in Mexico. The place was just, New England was decimated by people moving their factories into Mexico.
Trump took questions from the audience after his speech and addressed how he'd get things accomplished despite a quote-unquote do-nothing Congress.
It's all about the leadership. If you had the right leader right now as president, he would be able to get those members in Congress together in a room and just lock that door and say, fellas and ladies, we're going to come out with a deal. And we're going to come out with a deal that's good for the American people, good for our country, good for everybody.
After his speech, Trump was presented with the New England College golf hat, prompting him to answer the question on the minds of many in attendance.
And by the way, it is my real hair. Okay. Right, Anthony, you can see, right? Come here. Good luck, man. Do well.
Yesterday's visit marked the 4th time this year Trump has stopped in the Granite State, leading some to believe he's more inclined to run for president this time around than he was in 2012. Trump also made stops in Hudson and Salem and spoke at a Politics and Eggs event this morning in Concord.
As soon as we know if Trump is running for president, YCN News will let you know. If you're looking for a job, you may want to head to Vermont on Thursday. Governor Peter Shumlin says IBM is hiring and holding a job fair. The job fair will be held from noon to 6 p.m. at the Sheraton Hotel in Burlington, Vermont. Coming up next on YCN News, Elizabeth D'Orazio brings us an interview with Melissa Richmond. Melissa is the executive director of the West Claremont Center for Music and the Arts. That's coming up in tonight's River Valley Chronicle when YCN News continues.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Mike Pizzone. Well, it was nice to see those sunny skies out there today, and it looks like they'll be here to stay for at least the next couple of days. Skies will remain partly cloudy tonight with a low of 39 degrees and wind gusts maxing out at about 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow will be a slightly warmer version of today with mostly sunny skies and a high of 66 degrees. Skies will become mostly cloudy tomorrow night, though, with a low of 41 and relatively calm winds. We'll break the 60-degree mark again Thursday with a high of 61 degrees and partly sunny skies, before dropping to a low of 40 Thursday evening. Now let's take a look at our community calendar to see what's happening in the region. The Springfield Elks Club on Park Street in Springfield, Vermont is hosting a Red Cross blood drive tomorrow from 11:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Donors must be at least 17 years old and in good health. Visit redcrossblood.org for more information. Bingo night will be held tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. at the Charlestown VFW Post Hall on Lovers Lane Road in Charlestown, New Hampshire. Food and soft drinks will be available. The hall's bingo nights are the primary fundraisers for scholarships and various community donations. Award-winning artist Robert Karsten will be at the Springfield Town Library in Springfield, Vermont tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. to give a presentation called The Joys of Plein Air Painting. The talk is free and open to the public. There was plenty of high school action once again yesterday, with some area programs, like the Stevens and Kearsarge baseball teams, going head-to-head despite relatively wet conditions. The Cardinals jumped out to an early lead and never looked back, crossing the plate 8 times over the first 3 innings of its 8-1 victory over Kearsarge. All 10 of Stevens' players dressed for yesterday's game reached base, with 6 driving in at least 1 run. Senior catcher Briar Roulard led the way with 3 hits, including this double to right in the bottom of the 6th inning, while sophomore Kobe Hussey, junior Ryan Knapsey, and senior Brandon Bell also finished with multiple hits for the home team. Once again, it was senior Chase Hussey who made things difficult for opposing hitters on the mound, as the Cardinals ace allowed just 1 run on 4 hits and a walk while striking out 11. Jake Vierzon played well for Kearsarge despite suffering the loss from the mound, collecting 2 of his team's 4 hits in the contest. The Cougars dropped to 2-3 with the loss, while Stevens improved to 3-0. I spoke with Roulard after the game, who said his team has taken on a new approach when it comes to practice, which has shown in its success so far this season.
We've been working hard before the season, working hard during the season, and hard work's not going to stop. I mean, we do a lot of things different than we have in the past. I mean, at practice we're more focused on base hits and situational hitting, whereas before we would just step up and hit. Weren't really trying to do anything too big, but now we're focused on getting base runners and getting runs. I mean, we're all determined, we all want to win. And in our minds, we want the state championship. So that's what we're working for.
I also spoke with Stevens head coach Paul Silva, who said it's hard to find much wrong with a 3-0 start to the season, other than a knee injury suffered by third baseman Tyler Woodman late in the game.
I'm real happy to be any time you're winning games and start off the season 3-0. You got to be happy. You know, Chase, you know, he throws the ball so well. You know, losing Tyler to the injury, that's gonna hurt. But we have a we have a roster of 15 guys, and didn't look like it today because we have some people on vacation. You know, I thought Aiden Cahill came in and got himself a base hit, filling in for us. You know, Roz did a good job. Kobe hit the ball real well. We're putting the ball in play. We're hitting the ball hard. You know, we're playing pretty good defense, and we're obviously getting good pitching. So it's a great start. But we got to go down to Monadnock on Wednesday, so we'll get a real good look at where we're at.
Silva also credited Kearsarge coach Travis Pelletier for getting the most out of his players and steering his program in the right direction.
Travis has done a great job with that program. You know, he's got kids playing hard. I thought that shortstop, you know, he's a freshman that got called up today. He made a great play in the hole, made some nice plays. They like to play the game. You know, when you're young, it's, you know, you're going to take some lumps sometimes, but you know, they hit the ball, you know, a few times today hard.
Kearsarge will be back in action today at Fall Mountain, and the Cardinals will travel to face Monadnock tomorrow. Andrew Hood left the game with a 1-run lead in the 5th after allowing just 2 hits and no walks while striking out 13 up to that point. Brandon Heath earned the win for the Wildcats, surrendering 2 earned runs on 4 hits in a complete game effort. He also struck out 5. Fall Mountain improved to 4-1 with its 3rd straight win, while the Tigers fell to 2-2. Keeping with that double local theme, the Kearsarge softball team put up 18 runs for the 2nd straight game, helping the team improve to 2-3 with its victory over the winless Cardinals. Maddie Fulsick led the Cougars with 2 RBI on 4 hits, while Ashley Thompson pitched well in 5 1/3 innings of relief to help clinch the win. Marty Milan led the way for Stevens, notching a home run and reaching base in all 5 at-bats for the home team. The Lebanon boys lacrosse team benefited from a 4-goal effort from Ryan Dameron and Michael Flory in a convincing win over Campbell. Kyler Tang earned the win between the pipes, turning aside 26 of the 29 shots he faced. The Raiders are now 1-1 and are back in action today at Manchester West. That does it for YCN Sports. I'm Mike Pizzone.
Thanks, Mike. Capital Connections host John O'Connor brings us part 2 of an interview with New Hampshire State Representative Karen Ebel when YCN News continues.
The YCN News continues in a moment.